Time now for our social story. Every week on social media, we give you, our viewers, a choice of 3 stories for us to take a deeper dive into. This week, an overwhelming number of you chose the reported drone sightings. Go figure. So with that in mind, we are going to continue our coverage now with Stacie Pettyjohn. She is the director of the defense program at the think tank, a Center for a New American Security. Stacie, thanks so much for joining us. Awful lot of interest in this story. What do you think is going on here?
I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's important to distinguish what is happening right now over New Jersey and in the Northeast in general from the broader growing small drone threat, which is real. I think there's a lot of hysteria right now and uncertainty because the government does not have the capabilities or the authorities to detect and defeat small drones. And they need to rectify that and rectify that quickly because we're seeing that this is a growing threat. Northcom has said there have been over 600 drones detected over U.S. bases in the last few years, and that's probably not the entirety that have been there because they haven't been able to detect them all. So right now, there's confusion because there are multiple agencies that are involved in this. There's Homeland Security, there are local government and law enforcement agencies, there's the Pentagon, and the Federal Aviation Administration. And this patchwork of different organizations have overlapping responsibilities, and there's no one clear organization that's in charge of defeating this potential threat. So going forward, they need to figure out how there's going to be an interagency solution, who's going to be in charge, and make sure that they are equipped with the right capabilities to be able to identify these and then take them out if they're deemed to be a real threat.
Stacie, a lot of what you're hearing from people who live in the New Jersey area or in areas that have seen these are either the government knows what they are and they're not telling us, and that's a problem, or the government doesn't know what they are, and that's a problem. What do you think is more likely?
I think the latter is more likely, that the government doesn't honestly know, and in all likelihood, there are multiple sources. It's not clear that all of these drones are actually connected, that they're being operated by the same people, and that any of these folks actually have hostile intent, whether they're domestic actors or foreign actors. In all likelihood, there are multiple different people flying drones because these are readily accessible, and many people are probably misidentifying crewed aircraft, normal aircraft that are regulated and are allowed to be up in the sky, as potential drones.
And just finally, Stacie, by now you've seen a lot of these videos, I'm sure, not all of them, and obviously you haven't seen everything in person. But what type of drones do you think these are, and what might they be capable of? And I know they're all not the same.
Yeah, there are a bunch of different types. These are what the DoD calls Group 1 and Group 2. So some of them you've seen, they're small multi-rotor quadcopter type drones, but there are larger fixed wing ones that are used largely in the agricultural industry. They are a growing part of agriculture in the United States and incredibly useful, but they can be purchased online for $1,000 to $10,000, $15,000. And as we've seen in Ukraine and in other battlefields across the world, including Iraq and Libya, any of these drones can be modified and weaponized. They can also be used for surveillance. So there are privacy considerations as well as espionage concerns.